we walking in the Lego spot. So now, wait a minute. So now, mind you, so I'm telling them as we walking, I'm like, yo, you see this spot right here, Neff? I said, I wanted to take you in here so bad when you was younger. And I'm thinking as I'm sitting here thinking about it, as I'm saying it, words come out my mouth, I was like, don't feel bad, Jerry, because you already did that already. You already felt bad that you didn't get a chance to do the things that you wanted to do with your nephews. Now you still got you still got time. Don't even dwell on that, right? Boom, left that alone. I had to throw that in there just to let you know growth. Now, I mean, I don't let stuff settle no more. Well, I try not to let it settle no more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I tell him, I'm like, yo, this is the spot I always wanted to take you. And I said, matter of fact, let's go in here real fast. Yo, we go in there. First thing I see, they got a bouquet of roses, and I can't remember where I seen this at somewhere.
Rachel got
and so Rachel. So I said, yo, I can't remember where I seen this at, but I said, yo, this is so freaking dope. You know I love roses because we just was talking about it, right? So we looking around, yo. The more I kept looking around, my smile just kept getting bigger and bigger, yo. Literally. I felt like a kid that never had a chance to be a kid because I never had them type of chances, yo, that have that type of child spirit. You know what I'm saying?
The nostalgia spirit of being a kid.
Yeah, I never had that opportunity. You know what I mean? Shout out to my mom and my dad and all of them. They did what they did. So I'm not upset at that at all. I'm not upset with them at all, right? So make a long story short, we go in there, we looking around, dude. We had like literally walked around that whole store,
there's so much
top
stuff in
to
there.
bottom.
There's so
looking
much
at
stuff.
Cars, Super Mario's, Hello Kitties, rose bouquet, like actual bouquets.
Have you ever watched the
Harry Potter stuff?
Have you ever watched the Lego Championships?
No, dude.
I encourage you, if you can, dude, is to look up the Lego Championships or the people like at our age and maybe a little bit older. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a little bit older. That they have where they create these things with Legos. And they give a thing called a golden brick. I had it on my keychain. You know what I'm saying? Because my little one, she loved Legos. So I bought us like 2 golden keychains.
Yeah.
And like that's like the prize you can like receive if you find it or whatever.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And you look and you be like, okay, they Legos. But then you like realize.
Nah.
Like, and just go on YouTube and just look up the videos of people creating the YouTubes. You be like,
yo, it felt bigger than Legos to me, yo. Like just walking around there, I say, yo, this, and I'm a problem solver. I love to solve problems and stuff like. So in my head, with the ADHD and stuff, I said, what if this is a way of just working out my little head, my mental, just instead of focusing on other things, let me figure out these little trinkets in these puzzles. You know what I'm saying? And really start mind strengthening to understand.
So you gonna get into Legos?
Man, what? Yes, I'm buying my first batch in the next couple of weeks when I save up, man. I'm dead serious, yo.
You do know they got sneaker Legos, right?
Bruh, listen.
You can create.
I seen so much. I already signed. I signed up with my email and all that yesterday. Yo, I said I'm sold. I said, yo, this will not only get me to be closer to my nieces and my nephews. I said I'm pretty sure the other younger ones, they will get into this sooner or later if they want to get involved or whatnot. I'm not gonna force them, but you just kind of you can just feel it, right?
Coming up where we coming from, you know what I'm saying? Things such as if you didn't do painting, you did graffiti. That was your way of getting out. Things like Legos and Sudokus and all these things that are problem solving, brain teasers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those things unlock so many things in us that we don't even know, and it kind of goes into we grew up in an area of playing Super Mario, That was a side scrolling game.
Yep.
We grew up in beat 'em up games, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter.
Yep.
We never really looked into RPGs, role playing games. Those are those games where
which games
that would be
those?
Those would be like a Final Fantasy. Those would be like a Chrono Triggers. Those would be those
Zelda,
games.
is that Zelda in there too?
Zelda isn't an RPG because it's like, for instance, card games like Pokemon.
Real fast, is Zelda a RPG? Maybe. If so, let me just know.
It depends.
I trust his instincts. I trust them. Yeah. But I just want to fact check. So if y'all know, please let me know. It's
not technically an RPG because it you know what? It kind of is. Because it has to make you use
That's why I asked.
Because you have to use your brain. You have to use your brain to unlock certain things. Like, instead of going through a side-scrolling game, it's if I pick up a bomb and I have a collection of bombs.
Yeah.
The next level, I have to use those bombs to open up a random wall.
Okay.
So that will in the next level. So that will be considered kind of like an RPG. But more, it's more of I collect energy, I collect mana, which would be my energy, and I collect power. If I go to the next level and I didn't pick up the power that was in that last level, I can get beat easier. So that's like your Dungeons and card games, Dungeons and Dragons, even your Pokemons, your Dungeons and Dragons, your Pokemons, all those card playing games are considered kind of World of Warcraft for those that are World of Warcraft players, because it's making you think. I collect these cards, and the card has points, it has energy, and it has whatever else it may come with. Maybe a shield power percentage. So if I have these cards in this pack, and you have a certain amount of cards in your pack, and I'm like, I think I got a good amount of cards.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, all right, boom, this is my blah, 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 and this is what it comes with. And then you say, well, I have these cards, and I beat your card because you have a +4, this one has a +6. I beat you. With your character. Because the character has this amount. Yeah. But you can also build up that character with multiple cards of things that you collect. Oh, I found a gem. Oh, I found a potion. Those things, we weren't used to those things growing up.
I seen it, but I wasn't.
Absolutely.
I wasn't. Not only was I not involved, I just wasn't into it, I guess.
You know why we weren't into it? Because our imaginations weren't that wild. And because growing up and how we grew up, our imaginations weren't that wild. That's why this is why. And I give a shout out to my Uncle Ron. Shout out to my Uncle Ron. He's an actor in our local area of Buffalo. He did all these things. He was the one that introduced me to things like Star Trek, Star Wars. Because
and that's a big thing out there.
It is. You know what? And we did. Growing up in certain areas, those things were foreign to us. We got into things like kung fu flicks and things like that. I am a huge fan of kung fu flicks. But we weren't able to get into things that were able to stimulate our brains and to make us think outside the box.
I agree on that one.
Imagine me asking my homeboy that's hanging out, yo, I got these cards, man, let's play this. He gonna look at me like I'm speaking a foreign language
seriously.
Because his brain isn't as elevated into going into another realm.
You're right, because people used to laugh at people skateboarding in the hood.
Funny.
People used to laugh at people skating. Like,
funny.
One of my
hold on. You skated, but did you rollerblade?
That was one of my favorite.
And
I actually rollerblade more than I skate four-wheel.
My first pair of skates was a pair of rollerblades. I asked for rollerblades.
My man was like, we had a video when we went out somewhere skating. Me and DJ had a picture out. My man was like, oh, y'all boys got on rollerblades. And I'm like, Negro, if you was on Phyllis Avenue with us, you will understand, my dog. but you wasn't there.
It was
So you
different
don't
because guess
understand.
what?
You don't
It was
understand.
coming out of your comfort zone
Yeah.
of being able
different.
being different, expanding. Now we see people like us at Comic Cons and
Now
doing
it's cool.
Now it's cool.
Now it's cool.
After we were made, even anime things like those, you were kind of like made fun of.
Yeah. Yo, I'm not even gonna lie to you, dude. I am stoked right now. I am excited. I am excited because not only have we kept going with the podcast, not only have we kept going with these episodes, not only have we kept been able to try and serve everybody in our communities, right? But
welcoming you guys to the neighborhood.
Yo, welcome to the Good Neighbor Show. We are your hosts, and
I'm Lamont.
And I'm Dre.
And always remember, you can be you with us.
Yes, sir. So let me get back to what I was saying, though, now, right? Yo, the fact that we keep on moving and growing, and now I see that we starting to get into our own little, we starting to get into ourself and our comfortability levels, and now I understand be you, stop being other people. And when other people don't understand who you are, there is a community out there for you that will understand who you are, and they will accept you.
They will accept
and
you.
They will also help you,
encourage you
to utilize not only your feelings and your understandings of self, but understand other people, to understand where these people are coming from, because it's a lot of people that do not understand yourself, and then there's people that you don't also understand. But there's communities out here, and I'm telling you, that will help you understand both, not only yourself, but other people, so you can have this understanding that I also have right now with myself. Because, there was a lot of times where this type of flow did not exist in the podcast.
You're right.
For us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for us to have this type of flow right now, I am excited because we're talking about stuff that we like to talk about, and it's helping serve still in a way that...
And it's us.
And it's us. And we're now starting to find our authenticity into this to help serve not us, but other people.
Right.
I'm excited because thank you all for watching us.
Thank
you all for the 2,000 subscribers. Thank you all for the people that has been commenting. Thank you all for just the community, because if it wasn't for all of you, I'm not even gonna lie, if it wasn't for all of you still commenting, I was on a page yesterday and there was some people that you missed out on what we talked about, and I start going to their pages and start subscribing because I see what you was doing. You were trying to build the community within small channels like us. So when I seen that, I said, I have to start playing a bigger role and a bigger part, because when you want to be a leader and you already walk into that leadership role, there is a responsibility that you have to have, and you have to accept that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times I didn't accept it. A lot of times I ran from it. A lot of times I just didn't understand because you just was not in the right community.
I have no problem going into a actual establishment and going and purchasing things that I know I want. If I'm going to a buffet, I'm going into a buffet and I'm going to gorge on whatever it is. At the same time, there's a small local spot that have something that I may want, that I may be looking for, or that I may need. And that's why I am going to go to that small local spot and support them. I just watched a video. I can't find his name, but if I do, I'm going to try and post it. There's a guy in our city right now, Buffalo, New York, up the street of all places, that still sells, I wouldn't say vintage, but old school clothes from the 2000s. It's right up the way from us. And a guy found out that this Asian couple that's older has been there and still trying to sell these clothes. He went into that store and he is helping them sell all those old clothes. because he's seeing that there is a market for them, as well as helping them out. Because, like I said, they've been there since the 2000s. And you got to remember, during that time frame, we all know what kind of clothes we wore.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a market for it. You can say vintage, depends on how old you are. I guess now, you would consider it vintage for our age. But that's the kind of thing that we are trying to get out and trying to express and expose people to. I say this continuously. When you're coming into the neighborhood, we want you to be a good neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
You can always be you with us. And that basically means that once you come into the fold of who we are, it's us.
Man. Oh, yo. The excitement of change, baby. The excitement of change.
We got timers now.
The excitement of change. I'll tell you.
We got timers now. That's crazy.
Hey, gotta accept it, man. Gotta accept it.
And we gonna leave that in there.
No, I'm leaving all of this.
We gonna leave that in there.
Man. But that leads us into,
it basically leads us into what we want to explain to everybody today, or see if we can get you to get out of your comfort zone with, and that will be unsubscribing to certain subscriptions.
Explain that one, please.
Now, we all accumulate so many subscriptions, and everything that we do, you know what I'm saying? You be bouncing around, you subscribe here, but also there's payments with those subscriptions. There are payments in those subscriptions. And as time starts to accumulate, you forget about those subscriptions. And you go around about your everyday life, and you're moving and grooving. It's coming out, you're not even paying attention to it. Until they start to accumulate, and there are things that you need to pay for. And you're like, why am I still subscribed to that? And I really either don't use it, I don't need it, I'm giving away my money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I need to unsubscribe to those subscriptions. When you have those subscriptions, recurring payments, it's easy. It's a convenience because you don't have to worry about it. You know what date it's coming out on. It's coming out, boom. But as time starts to progress and it starts to accumulate, sometimes, as all things in life, you don't either utilize those programs anymore, and you just forget it, and you don't pay attention. Oh, that $150 here. Oh, that $250 here. Not knowing that it's been accumulating.
A good example for myself with doing that was not the gym I'm in now, because I love it because y'all give me the results that you see the results. But the one gym I was in maybe last year, a year and a half ago, matter of fact, I signed up. I was excited. I wanted change for my life. I really wanted to change, and I wanted to figure out. I had to make the first step, right? Which was go to the gym. My job had a program, had a discount.
Mm-hmm.
So I utilized the discount and subscribed to the gym. And I probably stepped foot in that gym 2 times. Not just off of, I just subscribed off of excitement of wanting change, right? But nothing changed. And so I had this going on for about 6 to 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
And this was about like $30 a month.
Right.
Yo, next thing you know, I needed money for something, and I looked in that one account, and I was confused because I was like, yo, shouldn't I have like $700, $800 in this account? And come to find out, I started paying attention to the what do you call that? The statement, right? So I started paying attention to the statement, and I kept looking at this. Matter of fact, the gym was $50.
It probably went up.
Yo, it was like $50, right? Yo, I freaked out, man, because I sat there and I said, yo, that was like $600 to $800 I just wasted on nothing. So yeah, I understand where you're coming from, because I did that with the gym.
Absolutely. So you have those So you have those subscriptions that you're not knowing that you're paying into, and you're like, wow, they accumulate after a while. Now, let's get down to the brass tacks of it. I just basically explained to why you have those subscriptions. There's apps and things now that you can like find a list of your names and everything, and of all the things that you have subscriptions to that you don't want to pay for that you can get rid of now.
Yeah.
Now, let's unsubscribe to things in our lives that we need to unsubscribe to.
We ain't gonna shout out to those apps yet because we not.
Yeah, we ain't gonna do that.
So I'm not going.
So those things that you're subscribed to in your life that you were so acclimated to dealing with on your everyday basis, you need to learn to cut those off to better yourself. Because we're so used to it. We're so used to not taking personal control of the things that we have been dealing with because we're so used to them coming out because we were used to it. We knew it was coming out. It's automatic, but we weren't taking the heat of doing it ourselves because nowadays we're so used to things being automated and someone doing it for us. There were times when you would like look in grandma's kitchen or somewhere and you would see a calendar that's filled up with circles and dates and payments and things like that. We have taken the personal aspect out of it and asked a computer generated thing to take care of it for us. So when you take that into consideration, personally taking control of things that you need to cut off of yourself to help you better grow is what we're trying to basically speak about, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Great example. Do you remember watching The Karate Kid?
Which one? There's 3 of them.
Let's go with the first one with Mr. Miyagi and Daniel-san.
Okay.
Mr. Miyagi had a bonsai tree. If you ever seen a bonsai tree, I'm gonna post a bonsai tree right here.
They had one at the Lego spot, dude.
I know, I seen it.
Oh my
God.
God.
And it makes it even better. There's a bonsai tree. When you see a bonsai tree, it grows a certain way. You have to clip and prune this bonsai tree to grow into its beauty that it is. If you do not trim and prune this bonsai tree, guess how it grows? Into a regular tree. Treat that like the subscriptions that you are prescribed in your life that you're so acclimated to, and learn to cut off these things. That's going to help you grow into being the beauty of what you need to be in yourself, be the visual for others, because it makes a huge difference.
That make a big difference. HBO. That was an unwanted one. Yo, I'm gonna throw one lug out there for helping everybody. Rocket Money. That's it. I'm not gonna say any other ones.
Okay.
But go to Rocket Money if that's something that you're interested in. Subscribing to real apps that are costing you money that you don't even know that you're paying for, and that will also save some bucks in your pocket, and utilize that money and growing in other places in your life and other areas. Maybe a gym, maybe Barnes and Noble if you still got a Barnes and Noble for books, or just any book app or bookstores.
Even your emails.
Utilize that money for something totally different, but for growth though. Don't just spend it on sneakers and stuff like that. I wasted my money on that also, and I'm getting rid of a whole bunch of those kicks. So
you know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I want a different habit, and I told the kids that yesterday, man. I'm like, yo, like you just said, man, I'm unsubscribing to like bad habits, man, in my life.
That you're so used to doing.
I'm so used to creating these bad habits in my life because I was running away from an old problem that honestly is not completely solved, but is 90%, 95% there, right? So why do I still need to have the habit that I created as I'm resolving these issues in my life? So, receiving God, receiving church, receiving good community, receiving better friendships, receiving better understanding my roles in my life. You know what I'm saying? Now I understand what I want to subscribe to and what I don't want to subscribe to. My man was just talking about rapping, and that's part of my life. But I told him, yo, I don't want to rap about guns and drugs no more. I said, so if that's something that you're gonna rap about, I don't want to talk about that. So I unsubscribe myself to that type of talk now because
Mm-hmm.
I see where that leads. So I understand it completely where you're coming from with this topic because I have to do some things and change some things, and I have
there are
changed
plans.
some things.
There are plans that I'm subscribed to that are unbeknownst to me that I don't even know.
It was a
until it pops up, and then I'm like, and then now I have to make a decision. Or I'm sorry, I have to make something inside of me say, man, well, how did I get there, and why did I need it?
Yeah.
And a lot of us kind of were, well, I won't say a lot, but some of us were subscribed to plans as we were young, and I'm gonna get some flack for this, but I don't care. Some of us were subscribed to plans that we weren't even available of knowing until we got older.
No, you lied. You never lied, man.
Yo, I'm 12. Well, I got a cable bill in my name. Well, I got a phone bill in my name. Why can't I get a house or purchase a vehicle? Because, and like I said, I'm gonna take some slack on it, but I don't care. These are things I've never experienced it,
Shit,
but
did.
I knew people that were.
I have experienced that.
Or you were invested in something that you thought that someone was going to take care of off the strength of their name, and you subscribe to the plan that they have, and when you decided to get your own thing, you were left out in the dust. I can say I was me. When it was time for me to get my own, dudes that I was with left me out to dry.
Same here.
I can't even purchase that. Well, now I gotta go. Now what I want that I felt like I worked hard for, now I gotta backtrack and now I gotta wait. But at the same time, it does not stop you from continuing. You don't use that as a part of creating animosity. Yeah, you all did that, but guess what? You did it, but I'm going to keep going. Now, guess what that means? I just got to look at y'all different. But at the same time, we were all young. You know what I'm saying? Living to live. So.
I listen, we speaking facts right now, man.
So.
Speaking all facts. So, yeah, unsubscribe to your unwanted things in your life and start subscribing to the things that you really want in your life. For example, for myself, I was subscribing to negative self-talk, self-doubt, not believing in myself, not believing in God. And that was at the age of 13. So I was not subscribed to faith. I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? But as the years grew, I slowly started understanding that I actually was subscribed to faith, because every single thing that happened when I was doing something in the streets or making a wrong decision in my life and there was a turnaround, I self-consciously said, or unsubconsciously said, thank you, God, thank you. So what I ended up doing
there was a way that you was always still giving.
Yeah. So I unsubscribed to negative self-talk, the devil, disbelief.
Or even if you don't believe in that. Even if you don't,
I don't care. This is me. This is for me.
Right.
This is me. This is what I unsubscribed to. And then I chose to subscribe to faith. I chose to subscribe to something better for me. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I'm asking you to what are you unsubscribing to that you need to start subscribing, changing the narrative and subscribing to something totally different.
Right.
What do you need to unsubscribe to? What do you need to stop doing? What do you need to
actually invest in that's actually going
for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? These are the things that I have done. And I'm telling you, look at the difference. The podcasts have, the subscribers have increased slowly but surely. The visuals start looking a lot better after change.
Because it was easy to just give it up. Man, where we need to be. I don't want to. It's a waste of time. My mind ain't ready. Oh, I got something to do. It's easy to unsubscribe to things that you don't want to deal with. It's easy. But when you subscribe to something, knowing willingly where it's coming from. I'm subscribing to so and so. I know it's coming out of my check. I got to make sure I have it in my check and make sure it comes out of. Boom! I press that button. What are you subscribing to in your the day-to-day life? I'm going to subscribe to being better. I'm going to subscribe to encouraging others. Even though I know I'm having a crappy day, I am going to subscribe to being the best me that I can be, so I can be who I can be to help others.
Period.
So the subscription aspect, those are our locals that's going by. That's all good. We're going to keep it funky. Subscribing to things that you are knowing and willingly actually knowing that's going to help you out and you are personally taking control over. That is what we're doing. It's better when you do it yourself and not automate it because it helps your brain go.
That boy speaking.
It makes your brain go. It makes you have to want to encourage yourself to do that. Man, I know I put this money down. Back in the days, man, I put this thing on layaway. I know I got to work this amount of hours so I can get that out on layaway because guess what? I got to get this gift for Christmas. I got to get this gift for Mother's Day. I got to get this gift for a birthday. When you start taking those kind of personal endeavors into you and who you are, that's what makes your character. That's what makes you dependable. Because you are going out of your way into creating someone that someone is willing to call on when they know they need you, because they know that what you're doing is not only bettering yourself because you're putting yourself in that position, but helping somebody else that may not have.
I'm gonna let you know something real quick. As you was just sitting there talking, right?